What's up, guys? Tori Kravitz with Knotfest here with Elijah from Cane Hill. How are you?
I'm living, thriving, breathing, kind of congested.
That is more than most people can say in Florida.
Yeah.
So
because they're all dead.
Bleak way to start this interview.
Welcome to Cane Hill, Tori.
You know what, I should know by now, shouldn't I? Yeah. Well, first of all, first tour in what, 3 years?
2?
2 years, I can count. And that's what's brought you to the wonderful state of Florida. Yes?
I do like the air. The air is nice. The people, Florida. Yeah.
It's true.
Could be worse.
Could be worse, but
Utah?
Is Utah worse than Florida?
Yeah. Have you been to Utah?
I mean, yeah, but not.
It's horrible. Terrible.
Well, it sounds like you have a very optimistic perspective on this tour, and everything is going swimmingly so far.
Yeah, it actually has. I
Yeah.
just have a cheerful disposition.
Yeah.
Tour's been great. It's good to be back playing music. It's good to know that people still come out to watch us play music.
Yeah.
Comparing it to our last headliner, which we did, 4 years ago? Maybe
Yeah.
more. This is better, so that's good news.
Yeah, I believe the last headliner was when Too Far Gone came out, wasn't it?
Oh, like a year and a half after. So really nice and off cycle. Although right now, our last album we released was Too Far Gone as well. So about 6 years off cycle, 5 years off cycle. I don't know when we released it.
But to be fair, there have been some really amazing releases in between. Not full-length albums, but we'll get to them shortly. Some nice EPs.
Off cycle.
Well, let's talk about this lineup too, because I have a quote from you on how you described this lineup. You said, grungy, new metal, and ferociously heavy bands seamlessly intertwined into the sickest lineup I could have imagined.
When did I say that?
I don't know, it was on the Twitter. I believe around the time the tour was announced.
Yeah, I think immediately Moodring said we're none of those, but they are. The horny one. Did I say horny?
You didn't,
Yeah, no,
but we
I
could
said-
throw that in there.
I said horny, and that's Moodring. But yeah, no, this package came together perfectly. I couldn't ask for a better package. But it gets the mood going, blood flowing, not in like an energetic way, in like a horny way. And then
The mood is ringing.
the mood is ringing, dude. Then Victims comes on and slams
Yes.
anger down everyone's throat. Afterlife gets everybody in that like rock and roll mood, that like American metalcore radio rock kind of style. And then we do all three of those simultaneously right after for about an hour.
Just the bow on the whole thing.
Yeah, like a
Cane Hill.
little cherry on the cake.
Yes. But I feel like you've summed that up pretty well, that really every band on this tour, although they're all technically in the metal category, they're all bringing something totally different to the genre. So let's bring it back to Cane Hill. What do you think Cane Hill specifically is bringing to metal that has never been done before?
Fucking absolutely nothing. We rip off all of the greats constantly. Maybe some Backstreet Boys influence is what's new. My pop sensibilities, charm, beauty, grace. Nothing. I'd say nothing. But I think, a nice fresh taste on heavy metal and metalcore, and re-inviting the Louisiana vibes to metal since Pantera's been broken up. Down and Goat Whore and Crowbar, all kind of on the older side, not touring as much, not releasing much music, so
Yeah.
that's it.
But I also find it interesting that you say Louisiana, because I feel like there is like this Louisiana flair about Cane Hill, but I don't even really know what that means. Like, what would you pinpoint that to be within Cane Hill?
I don't know.
It's like swampy energy.
Swampy energy, but that's like the hardest way to put it. I don't really know how Louisiana permeates the music, but when you listen to it, you know it. You can hear it. Definitely helps that we add a bunch of like New Orleans-y, swampy, grungy vibes to everything. But it's not like we have Louis Armstrong samples in our song or anything. It's just a good crawfish boil music,
It really is. Like, this makes no sense, but it also makes all the sense once you listen to the music.
Yeah, if you've heard of us and you've been to Louisiana, you'll understand. You'll get it.
Yes.
You'll be there.
And speaking of some Louisiana tunes, we got to talk about these EPs that we mentioned prior. Cru d'Amour was released this year. Did I say that right? Oh no, here it comes.
I literally just told her how to.
Cru d'Amour.
Cru d'Amour.
Cru d'Amour.
Cru d'Amour. Cru d'Amour.
And Cru de Mort. More.
Butchered. Should have put our EPs in English. Yeah, Cru de l'Amour.
You could tell I learned Spanish in high school.
Yeah.
It shows.
Cru de la Morte. Muerte? Cru de la Muerte? Sure. Amore is Italian.
But regardless of not knowing how to say the titles, I surely appreciate the music. And that is what matters the absolute most, am I right?
No.
So, moving forward from this conversation, this is the first time you're playing these songs live, really.
Yep.
And so how has that bred new life into these songs from the time that they were released to, now having a full audience in front of them?
It's made them even more fun. When we were writing them, we were like, this is fresh. This is nice. And then the first time we ever rehearsed them, we were like, this is hard. This sucks. Writing songs while not in like a live environment, it's like, yeah, fuck it, make it whatever we want. And then we get to like the actually having to play it live part of the song's lifespan, and we're like, oh, this wasn't easy. Didn't think about that. But now, they're fucking amazing. They slam. They are my favorite songs to play live. I wish we could never play an old song again. Respectfully. Yeah, it's just more fun. They're more us. I think they're more us now, at least. When we released Too Far Gone was the most fun shit in the world to play. And now I'm like, damn, I really gotta sing that? Let me just sing the new ones.
What about it? French 75 is the infamous one, right?
On the goddamn interview.
You don't want to play that one anymore?
Song, we never played it. We'll never play it. I can silence everyone right now with this one interview. That song, if you like it, fantastic. We didn't write it. We had nothing to do with it. It was a producer label thing. So.
See, I know you weren't happy that I brought it up, but at least now on the record.
On the record. On the notfest.com, song's bogus.
And the new songs are not bogus.
New songs are good.
So have some taste.
Have some taste. Get better music taste, like me.
Yes. And something I also really want to touch on, because I have the utmost respect for you and the rest of the band as well, is like during the lockdowns and the thick of the pandemic, there was a lot of downtime, obviously, which was either a really great thing for some bands or extremely difficult for others. And during that time, you were managing the band yourself, essentially, fully independent, and then went on to release some of your most successful music to date, and you've been doing absolutely incredible. So my hat goes off to you, my invisible hat. And so how in the world did you do that is really my question. Like, how did that mindset even happen?
Necessity. I didn't want to. They didn't want me to. No one wants me running this band. But that's the cards we were dealt. Right before the pandemic, our contracts ran up with Raw Power, they ran up with Rise Records, so we had no management, we had no label. Our booking agent pulled out when he heard that, and we're like, yeah, figures, that's cool. All we really had left with us was like our PRs, who are amazing women. Our tour manager, fucking Tony, and us. Do we have one more? Do we have one more person on our side? I don't think we did. I think that was literally it. Oh, Emmy, our publishing. So that's it. Just 3 incredibly powerful and determined women and Tony. That was our team.
That is quite the team, though, and clearly it worked.
It's done well. If COVID hadn't happened and we were in that same situation, I think we would have crumbled. I think everybody around us would have continued to become more and more successful. There would have been nothing to hinder the rest of the music industry while we were in this kind of semi-downward spiral. So COVID happening, putting everybody kind of on this blank slate, we were like, good. We were already prepared for a blank slate, whereas everybody else is just in the shits trying to figure it out. We already had this plan to try to revitalize Cane Hill after such a massive shift from a full-ass team to us. Yeah. And it meant freedom, We could write whatever we wanted. We could write however we felt. We had plenty of anger built up inside of us and resentment, so we got to put our emotions to paper and work with the people we want, spend like a feasible amount of money instead of having some suit be like, you got to spend $12,000 or it's garbage. And we're like, how are we going to pay for that? And they're like, you'll just pay us back for the rest of your life. So we literally spent the first quarter of the pandemic getting ourselves out of debt. Became a profitable business because we were handling everything on our own, working with hometown people who aren't egregiously overcharging, and made the best material that we ever have.
Yeah. And that is mad inspiring for any bands who think that they have to have a label to succeed as well. Like, look what you've done.
You really don't need one. A label is a bank. I mean, maybe they have a little bit of influence in the industry, and realistically, I can look at you and I can tell you don't need a label, but I can also look at you and tell you that the industry does not perceive a band without a label the same that they perceive them with a label, even down to the fan base. Metalcore is this like weird thing. Like, I never hear of like other genres of bands being like, oh yeah, they're signed to this label, that means they fuck. This label has the best artists. I'm like, what do you mean you only that's a big conversation that I just don't understand. Like, stop putting so much attachment into the corporate side of the music industry and like the artist instead of the group that controls or decides if the artist will be able to be successful.
100%. And so this is a very interesting conversation considering you've just done a thing. You've signed to Out of Line Music.
Yeah, we signed to a label.
Whoop-de-doo, would you look at that? But it is coming off of a lot of independent success, really proving yourselves as artists. And I know that Out of Line is a totally different label than you were with before.
Whole different world.
No shade, no tea, just,
Go from American label to European label.
Yeah.
Just feels smarter and better for us. I mean, we've said it for years in interviews when anybody asks us, like, where our favorite place to play or where we feel the most, like, respected as artists. It's always going to be Europe. It will always, nothing will change that unless, America goes through some weird, like, 10-year revolution where art is just finally considered good. Or, like, necessary to mental health of the entire community of humans. So we teamed up with a German label who fucking loves music and is hungry and willing to put energy and time into it. And that's all we wanted. We didn't care about, we don't need a ridiculous amount of money. Like I said, I don't want to pay it back. Like, we know how to get things done on a small budget and have it seem larger than life. Because we're smart. Yeah, we signed. Weird. After like all of the Twitter rants I went on about thinking labels suck.
I know you also just released A Form of Protest, which is the first song with Out of Line Music. And, every band says this when they start releasing new music, that it's the new era. But I know that you've... Cane Hill started that, everybody. You heard it here, folks. But I know that you've said that this single in particular, new era for Cane Hill. So I'm wondering... All right, hit me. What is new with this new era? And also, why did you choose this song to represent the beginning of it?
It's a new era just in the sense that, I don't feel like we're building back into what we were anymore. I feel like we are back. We are stronger than we ever were. And the music that we've been writing for an album, to me, is a departure from where we've been. And I was actually talking about this in one of our VIPs the other day, where this one of the people who was at the VIP was like, I love that like the new music is so different than what you've been doing, and it made me look at it from this completely different perspective where I am in the process of the songwriting. So everything from Too Far Gone to where we are now, I've seen the in-betweens, I've listened to all of the songs as they're growing, changing, reformulating, getting thrown away, being pulled back. So it doesn't feel like there's this drastic departure from our old sounds to me. It feels like a natural progression because I've been amidst the natural progression and the in-between. So like having that perspective thrown back at me that I just don't consider. Like, I know that that's real. I know I'm aware that nobody's involved in this and that it probably seems very different, but I don't think about it. And being made more aware of it, it freaks me out because the new music that we're writing does genuinely feel like a bit of a departure from where we've been in the past. So that makes me think that it's like exceptionally different than what we've done.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that I'm right and wrong. Because I want it to be in the good direction. I want it to be different and in a good direction. Different in a way that people go, ah, yes, good.
I mean, I think that's been noticeable with every release that you've put out, though. Every release is a little bit different, but it is always better, I think. You know what? I'm biased because I love you guys, but...
No, but you're right. It's all better.
And it has...
So
I mean, if you listen to the first EP to now, holy crap, there's a difference.
Just don't listen to it, you know? I'm not going to see any money from it. I can tell you not to listen to it. But I mean, so the Form of Protest being the first song you released, I think it's kind of funny because I definitely wrote that song about the music industry and labels and managers and booking agents and everyone but PR, because our PR fucks. PRs are good.
So after this tour, what are the upcoming plans? What else is en route for Cane Hill?
Plenty. Some stuff that remains unannounced that involves us in a van going across the country. Plug in whatever information you want there. You can make your own assumptions. And 3 weeks after this run ends on Saturday, 3 weeks after that, we are going into pre-production mode and we are writing our album finally.
New music on the way. That is very exciting. Well, love to hear it. Well, thank you so much for chatting. Yeah. It's been nice to catch up after all this time.
God bless.
And Knotfest folks, do yourself a favor. Listen to Cane Hill. Listen to the new single, and we'll catch you later. See ya.